So if you're like a lot of people, you've probably always wanted to publish a book. That's something that's actually on a lot of adults' bucket lists, but very, very few people ever do it. I am an author. I've actually published 4 books, and it's a lot of work. I definitely, if we look at writing books as a side hustle, for me personally, it's never been worth the time and money if that's the reason you're doing it. If you're just doing it to make money, books aren't great. But to help with credibility, to understand a topic, all my books have been nonfiction. And I feel like the process of writing has been good. Plus, as a professor, writing and publishing is part of what we do. And so it's always been kind of part of my life. However, that said, in this video, I'm going to explain to you how I'm going to publish a book in a day. This is going to be an experiment, and why I'm doing it now after years and years of trying other ways. Why am I trying this new system? So, for some context, I have always taken notes of things that I'm interested in, and I have a file of future books I want to write. And it's not a small list. Like there are a lot of things that I care about, a lot of things that I want to write about. In fact, this year, I'm hoping to publish 3 or 4 books. I'm getting really, really close on one. It should be published soon. We're making good headway. Me and my wife are co-authoring a parenting book, and that's coming along really, really well. And I have a book on teaching that I'm having my daughter work as a research assistant this summer, and she's done a lot of work on that. That's coming along really, really well. But one book that I've never written and feel very unqualified, but I thought this is a book I want to write for myself. And let me explain. In 2018, I had a sit-down talk with my wife, and she was really worried because my health had gotten out of hand, and she was concerned. We had recently, a few people had died that were our age, and it gave her a kind of a, I don't know if it was a crisis or just there was a lot of concern there. And she sat me down and she said, "I'm really worried about you." At the time, I was over 300 pounds. And while I still exercised periodically and mostly ate healthy foods, I had a few unhealthy habits, and that had led to, the weight had come on slowly over a long period of time. And I've been overweight my whole adult life. And so it was just something that had crept up on me, but was to the point where I needed to make some changes. So I did. I had some accountability. I did a video check-in every week where I talked to the camera. I created a YouTube channel called After the Run where I shared some of my results of losing weight. And while I didn't share those weekly check-ins, I shared the lessons I was learning. And over a year, I lost 100 pounds. And I got into really good shape. And then over the next 2 or 3 years, I actually gained a little bit of weight, but it was really healthy weight where I was in even better shape. So I got down to where I had 6-pack abs, and I ran a double marathon, and just was doing some physical things I'd never done before. And it was great. And then the weight started coming back on. And of the 100 pounds I lost, I gained 80 back. Well, that got us to January, and since January, I've been working hard on this again, and hopefully you've noticed a little bit, but I've lost about almost 30 pounds so far this year, and so I'm right at that 50 pound from where I was before, right? Where I've still got a long way to go, but I feel like I've been on a plateau for the last few weeks, and I thought, I learned a lot in this weight loss journey a few years ago. What if I just reviewed all the things that I learned then and start implementing some of those things? And that brings me to today. This summer, I've experimented a lot with AI and with ChatGPT and taking things that I've already created. I did this week with an assignment where an assignment I gave my students, I wanted to give them an example of the assignment. So I took the instructions, I took an example of the answers, I took a template, and I put it all into ChatGPT. And then I said, do this assignment as if you're me. And I put things that were important to me, what context I wanted it to be. It was for a school teacher, so I did the grade, the content area. And then it gave me all the answers and walked me through this assignment. And an assignment that would typically take my students 3 or 4 hours of research and writing took me a half hour. And a lot of people would be really concerned, well, ChatGPT is just going to do the work for your students, and this is horrible. In this case, I learned more by reading what ChatGPT spit out than had I done the research myself. So as I'm reading what it's saying and I'm copying and pasting it in to complete this assignment, my own assignment that I'm giving my students, I actually learned more, and it only took me a half hour instead of 4 hours. Well, for me, now it feels like a no-brainer. I need to teach my students how to use AI more effectively. And so I created a video for them showing them my process of what I did. Well, that was one example of something where I took something I'd already created. I've spent hours and hours and hours, and then I had ChatGPT help me make sense of it, fill in the gaps, etc. I am going to try that now with writing a book on health and weight loss for myself based on my own experiences. So what I'm going to do today is I am going to find all my old videos that I filmed. I have them on a hard drive somewhere. I'm going to use a transcription service. I downloaded one. It's free. It's called Vibe, and it's really great. So it's on my desktop. It's not a free trial or anything. It's really a free software program. It's been really awesome for me. And I'm going to plug in every video that I have that I've made, and there's probably a couple hundred, and I'm going to plug those all into Vibe. I'm going to take the transcript and make a single document. Now I'm guessing, this is my prediction, we'll do a part 2 to this video and see how close I am. I'm guessing it's going to take me 3 or 4 hours to transcribe all the videos. And when I'm done, I'm going to have 200 pages of a Word document. That's my guess, is 3 to 4 hours, 200 pages. If that is the case, I can do that all in one day. And then I can plug that 200 pages into ChatGPT and say, here's everything that I've learned. And the way I'll set it up is I'll explain my situation. I lost 100 pounds. I gained 80 back. Now I've lost 30 pounds. I want to get over the hump. What are the things that I did that worked that I can reincorporate? Here's what I'm doing now. Give me some suggestions. But also, and so maybe I'll just do a single script that says, here are the highlights. And that might be a good introduction. But then I'll say, and actually I have enough content here. Let's go ahead and write a book. Let's do a book that kind of has 10 suggestions. We'll have 10 chapters of things that worked really well for me. We'll share my journey in the introduction. We'll have some before and after pictures. And then you help me come up with a good framework for the book. And I know this works because I've done this for one of my other books. It's amazing what ChatGPT can do. So I'm going to plug that all in, give some of the ideas I want. And if it's like my previous experience, we'll have some back and forth. That will give me some ideas. We'll start with something small. We'll look at the introduction. We'll look at the chapter ideas and a structure for the book. And we'll go back and forth with that within a folder on ChatGPT. And so it remembers everything that we put into there. And then once I'm happy with that, I'll say, all right, let's do chapter 1. You already have a ton of information. Give me a draft of chapter 1. And I'll read it, and I might just sign off on it. I'm guessing I'll make a few changes, but it has enough of my own voice through these videos. You know, it's going to have hundreds of hours of video that it can probably write it as if it was exactly me. And they are my own ideas. ChatGPT's just helping me make sense of those and put those together. So I'm really excited to try this out. I think, again, I can do all the transcription in 3 or 4 hours. The back and forth with ChatGPT is going to be another 2 or 3 hours. And then to format it all into a book and get it all out. Obviously, just to read a book is going to take you, 6 to 8 hours. And so I don't know if I'll actually get this done in one day. It might be 2 or 3 days, but my hope is that the whole process is going to be 10 hours or less. I really think that this is possible, that I can write a book based off what I've done. Now, does that mean that the book took 10 hours to write? No, because it did take me hundreds of hours to get these ideas out and to do it. But the reason I'm doing this experiment and why I'm sharing this part 1 with you on what I'm going to do, and then I'll share the part 2 on how it worked, is because I think this is a replicable process where a lot of people do want to write a book. And why not carry your phone around? And this is how I did it, is as I got ideas, I just would do a voice memo and I would talk into my phone, and then I would also videotape into my phone my ideas. But I have hundreds of hours of my own ideas. Let's do something with that. And we finally live in a time where we can. And so this is something that no matter what you're passionate about, if you start working on it, I really think that this is a way to create new books. And I think they're going to be even better than the books that I've written in the past. I think that ChatGPT is going to help me make the best book possible, things that can help a lot of people. So I'm really excited about that. So that's the experiment. This was part 1. I'll do part 2 in a few days. If you have any questions or comments, maybe I'll publish this today and I can answer your questions or comments in the part 2. And maybe there'll even be things that are pertinent where I'll do some research and stuff so that we can learn as much as possible from this experiment. Just let me know in the comment section. All right, thanks. Bye.